Welcome. My name is Lisa Marie Rosales, and we will be discussing human resources strategy within the Round Rock Independent School District. First off, let's give a little history behind Round Rock ISD. It was established in 1913 as a small community school, and as of 2015-2016 school year, it has approximately 5,800 teachers and staff that it employs, just under 50,000 students, and has 50 schools across the district and more coming as we speak under construction. Now, it does offer educational programs based on Texas's educational standards, which include the Texas Education Agency's Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills Curriculum, short term for TEKS. Also offers college readiness and special student population education as well. Round Rock ISD also has plenty of competition in and around Texas, one being minutes away with Austin ISD and Ames ISD. Now, both of these school districts have very similar student population and also offer very similar educational programs, like the ones we discussed in the previous slide. They also have academic, fine arts, and athletics that are considered, big determining factors when it comes to competition, because many of these go on to compete against other schools within the district nationally and internationally so that they can, show their efficiency and their success. One thing to note, Westwood High School is just one of the high schools within Round Rock ISD, and they recently had 19 of their orchestra students perform in the all-state orchestra groups. And this is one of the largest amount of students coming from one school within one school district going on to the Texas's all-state orchestra group. So it's just something that keeps them on a competitive nature. Now, it's important to note that Round Rock ISD has a strong business strategy behind everything that they do. It really builds on their vision as having students who can contribute to society, continue to learn, and confidently embrace the challenges of a competitive and ever-changing world. That's their vision. That's what they want to do in the long run. Now, they have 8 goals that they believe will get them there. And we don't have to go through all of them, but some of them that I believe that are very important towards human resources side is things like our goal number 6, plan for growth that will preserve and expand flexible learning spaces. The district has to make sure that there is enough space for their staff and students in order to prepare them for, the challenges that they're going to get later on in life. Of course, goal number 3, providing opportunities, staff training, communication, and flexible programming to eliminate any disparities in expectations of achievement amongst the students. Wow, that directly relates to what human resources has to do in terms of preparing their staff to allow their students to be and achieve while they're there. So since human resources is so influential into the business strategy of any business, I wanted to discuss what exactly Round Rock ISD's HR's contributions are to the business strategy within the district. They're primarily responsible for hiring qualified professionals, teachers, and experienced staff so that they can carry out these goals of the district. They're also responsible for keeping current personnel in compliance by providing a set of rules and policies that guide teachers and administrators and staff on how to act with students, what they're supposed to do in terms of anything that happens. These sets of rules really just guide them overall. And they're also responsible for keeping administrators on track of their employees' appraisals and also to process terminations in order to open up for more opportunities of for more qualified or other potential employees. This is extremely important, especially because if there are teachers who are not performing well and they're not living up to these goals, then replacing them is very important. After looking at Round Rock ISD's current compensation plan, my first recommendation would be to change the current traditional compensation plan to one that relies on yearly evaluations and perhaps even adding a student achievement bonuses. A little background first as to how teachers get paid. The responsibility relies solely on the Board of Trustees and the superintendent of the district. They predetermine where their salary starts, and then as the years increase, the teachers are then given a small raise each year. So as the years increase, the salaries increase. But in terms of implementing this strategy or this recommendation, I think it would solely have to rely on human resources and being able to trust the administrators on the campus level to have accurate, non-biased evaluations and whether or not these teachers are doing well and deserve a raise. Instead of just automatically giving teachers a raise for the years of service that they have, it should be based off of whether or not these teachers are teaching well and is it observable within the data coming from student achievement scores or the Texas State required tests that they're supposed to take. Do those scores reflect what the teacher is teaching? And if they are, that would be great because the entire school would then get a bonus based off of how well their students are achieving. The only drawbacks to this is that some really exceptional teachers in certain schools may not receive a bonus because if the entire school doesn't perform well, then that entire school doesn't get a bonus. And also teachers who receive lower scores on the evaluations may be upset. My second recommendation for Round Rock ISD would be to take away the automatic paid benefits for new hired teachers only for the first 5 years. After those 5 years have incurred, then would the district start paying their medical benefits. However, in order for this to go smoothly, it would require that all school districts in the state of Texas to participate on this level. Only because if only our Round Rock ISD puts this recommendation into action, then it could actually deter really good teachers from choosing to come and teach here, and they would just go on to another school district where they get paid benefits. Although I do know that this would take a lot of cooperation and communication between the entire state, it would have to be a state mandated law in terms of taking away those paid medical benefits for the first 5 years. So I know that it would take a lot in order for this to go through, but I do think that in the long run, it will save the state as a whole so much money by not having to pay those medical benefits. I personally know of multiple teachers who are fresh out of college, have started with the school district, and hated teaching within those first 2, 3 years, and they ended up leaving to do something else with their degree. How many times, or how much money could we save on those type of people who figure out, wow, this is really not for me? Lastly, my third recommendation would be to have human resources department set the appointments for prospective employees instead of having the prospective employees choose their dates for themselves. The reason behind this is because the process of hiring is so dragged out. It's so lengthy. First, it starts off with posting the position, waiting 10 to 15 days in order to start pulling applications and calling in interviews. Once they go through as many interviews that they need to find the employee that they want, they then have to start the background check process, the fingerprinting, which is done by the state, and then lastly, once the fingerprinting has gone through and the background check and the fingerprinting data come back and they get the okay to hire the person, they then have to set up a time to sit down with the new employee and go through all the new hire presentation paperwork, all of that. At that point, once they sit down and do that, they are then an employee. So the process of doing this and implementing this would be fairly easy, I think. But you might have to hire more HR staff in order to make sure that they've got enough people to do the setting of the appointments and the new hire paperwork, especially during those heavy hiring times like the summer. Since teachers are on a yearly contract basis, if they decide to leave the next year, well then um, the summer is the time for administrators and HR staff to make sure that they've got everybody hired before school starts up again in the fall. The biggest drawback to this recommendation really isn't a drawback towards Round Rock ISD, but more towards the prospective employee, because they may be affected negatively if they are currently working now while they're seeking other employment opportunities. Their current employers may not be flexible. So if the Human Resources Department at Round Rock ISD sets an appointment during a time where that prospective employee is supposed to be working at a different job, well then that might cause some conflict within the prospective employee and their current employer. Overall, Round Rock ISD really is a great school district, and they have a history of excellence, and they continue to trend towards that world-class position on education and student success, despite their limitations on their resource department processes. So really, overall, I think that by implementing these recommendations, the district can save some time and money, all while contributing to the vision and the goals of the district that they want to do in the first place. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Lisa Marie Rosales, and appreciate your time. Bye now.